Welcome to our viewers and listeners, wherever you are. Today, the preview of the 2023 Asia Cup Super 4 match between India and Pakistan. The Cricket Show USA welcomes you and Coach Jatin Patel. Good evening to you, Coach.
Good evening.
Okay, well, we've been watching in the background the Asia Cup, and now we've reached this point where we're in the Super 4, and today we'll take a look at the India-Pakistan match, which is due to take place certainly within the next 24 hours. I will suggest, in this Asia Cup, or rather this format is the ODI format. And I understand that no ODI contest has been played between India and Pakistan since 2019. So this makes this one something very, very special. I would like to take a look at the squad and perhaps give you my take on what I think the squad may look like on either side. If I start off with the Pakistan side, I figured we would have Babar Azam, Fakhar Zaman, Iman ul Haq, Mohammad Rizwan, Shadab Khan, Abdullah Shafiq, Iftikhar Ahmed, Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Mohammad Nawaz, and Nazim Shah. That's my 11 for the Pakistan side. And on the Indian side, I would select Rohit Sharma, captain, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, Iyer, Rahul, Kishan, Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, Axar Patel, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mohammad Siraj. Those two teams are my teams for the match tomorrow. Not that my team might necessarily agree with what other pundits have declared, but those are my team. We'll see what happens there. India in their last 5 matches have won 3 and they've lost 2, whereas Pakistan have won all 5. Now, if you look at the ranking for the MRA ranking for ODI, men's ODI, we see that Pakistan is ranked number 1 after having played 25 ODI matches, and they have a ranking point of 120. India is ranked number 3. They have ranked on 37 matches, which is a significant more matches than Pakistan, and they have a ranking point of 114. So India is unlikely to lose this match because it's very important to India for prestige or for national, or not so much for the cricket point of view, but for other points of view. India is set on not losing this match, so this makes it even more intriguing. Weather-wise, the forecast suggests a 90% chance of rain. But having recovered from what happened earlier in Palili, or I think I might have that
Palakal.
Incorrect. But they have now introduced a reserve day into this match, which is unusual because normally you don't have reserve matches this far away from the final. So obviously recognizing the importance of this game, they have decided that a reserve match is required. India batters has played during this series one full match only against Nepal. And that ended as a T20 contest because India didn't have to go through 50 overs. They only had to sort of do the T20 style batting. So realistically, that's not sufficient practice for India. Rain affected match versus Pakistan, only Kishan and Pandya stood up to the Pakistan bowling attack. When India played Pakistan in that opening match, because of the rain, of course, it was affected. But only Pandya and Kishan stood up to the Pakistani bowling attack. This batting performance or lack of batting match practice is not a good sign for India in my book. And Indian bowlers likewise have had limited match bowling practice only against Nepal. And since Nepal is not one of the established playing teams, I'm not sure that that type of bowling practice was sufficient to give India bowlers the kind of workout. So they've really only played one full match against an opponent who made their first appearance in the match. Whereas Pakistan has played two full matches, and they are coming off a 3-match series against Afghanistan that they swept. So quite clearly, Pakistan have their tail feathers up, because they see themselves a lot more comfortable. Both sides are equally balanced and experienced players-wise, but weather permitting, I believe Pakistan has the edge on this one. But of course, we will see. That is my preview take. What is yours?
Well, definitely Pakistan has an edge at the moment because they have momentum going on. Very healthy side. They're playing together for last many months, and they have the attack they need to beat India. India is still going through that rough patch. It has been started more than 6 months back. And since then, they have a lot of in and out on time to time for all three formats. Just like what we hear is Bumrah is back from injury. Same thing with the KL Rahul.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the team combination or chemistry is definitely a concern for India.
Mm-hmm.
I see your roster,
Mm-hmm.
but in that roster, it will be very difficult to keep anyone out as a 12th man. That's how the India as a team is.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be the serious discussion or consideration for the Surya Kumar Yadav for sure. Top of that, KL Rahul is coming back after a long period, but it will be definitely ahead of Ishan Kishan to take the wicket-keeping job because he can bat if needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be a huge concern about the bowlers because Bumrah is back too.
Mm-hmm.
Even he hasn't bowled since June this year. Yeah, it's almost 3 months now without having a full-scale bowling in a 50-over game. Means he hasn't bowled 10 overs in any game since June. So these are the things are challenging for India. And lately they have the problem, I will say, at number 4 and 5. They have not settled down that issue before the World Cup. So I will not be surprised if experimenting process is ongoing and they can take the Surya Kumar Yadav as additional batsman there. Rahul will be the tricky, but if he's coming as a keeper, I will say they need to try him at fourth or fifth wicket partnership situation so he can build the inning. And that is a huge concern about middle order in India.
Mhm.
Looking at the Pakistan space, Shah, Shaheen Afridi, and Rao. This is the really good bowling lineup they have at this moment. And they are like a firepower we've seen in first game. If the India loses a couple of wickets early, then it will be heavy load on the middle order batsman to carry on for 50-over game. Absolutely, this is the quality cricket. We don't see India, Pakistan together playing that many games like many other country does. And because of that, we can expect the fans and the interest globally, it's really high. And at the same time, this rivalry they have for many years, it's one of the best you can consider when it comes to the on-field matchup. Both teams want to prove that they are better than the other.
Mhm.
There are a lot of many other things out there, which is what they push them to go emotionally high. And at the same time, this is the same scenario can force certain players to go under pressure. If someone is new one, inexperienced player, then it's a huge challenge to play under pressure in this situation. But with the World Cup coming India right after this Asia Cup, so this Asia Cup is definitely a preparation platform for the World Cup, we call it.
Yes.
And that's we're going through it. Asia Cup is more interesting than the World Cup. The reason for that, if you look at in the last 10 years or so, majority of the global events, whether it's a World Cup, Champions Trophy, T20 World Cup, you can see most of the time, 5 of the South Asian countries are competing in those World Cups. And 2 to 4 always make it to the playoffs. That's a huge. And now these same teams are competing against each other in Asia.
Mhm.
So spare the Nepal and all other 5 countries are important competitive teams, even in a World Cup stages or the global events. And that is what it brings the beauty. Like, hey, this is much more than the World Cup. Whoever proves here is going to have a lot of psychological advantage to go forward. Look at the serious business. Afghanistan just left out because of some mathematical miscalculation, we can say. It was right on knife edge when they did not make that Super 4 stage.
Mhm.
Looking at the today's game against Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, it was a tight enough. It went to the ropes.
Yeah.
It was definitely another game where neither team wanted to lose.
Mhm.
And end of the day, the team is doing better overall, gonna take the win with him. But this is the contest, we're gonna keep look at it. We have like 2 more games left, I think 3. But the India-Pakistan game is the deciding one to see which team is going to secure for the final. The formation is there is no semi-final, there is no qualifier, or there is no eliminator. Top 2 team plays final. So from here on, Pakistan has to pay points by playing 1 game, but India has not played any game, and this is beginning. So I will say both teams will be hungry to get the win and get the points on the board so they can have their standings at the top of the group to make finals. Weather will be always concerned, especially in this particular month in Sri Lanka. And this is not the happy situation for anyone when the middle of the tournament, the venue switched. And also this a rain day, means a rest day is added if needed. I don't think this tournament was prepared for this option, what it came out in the last week or so. But still, 2 days is good enough to get some result out of this game. And it is expected to have the result for sure. That's a good thing for the game and fans. But it will be a little bit harder for the players to work and stay active for 2 days. Looking at the pitch situation and so far the games, I can say the turning track is there. Pitch will be keeping low. It has a bounce, but in early stages. But when you have this sort of wicket, then there is a huge advantage to the speed star who can bowl quick Yorkers. Because when the batter is playing on these surfaces, they take some extra time to position themselves to play the ball. And after you're used to with that timing situation, and all of a sudden, if you see a speed star coming, that is what they mess it up, the timing situation, and get the perfect Yorkers can definitely go to the stumps. And that's what happened today. They had like 3 or 4 batters out in the same scenario. But overall, this is the game. It's a warm-up for the World Cup one way.
Yes.
But it will be definitely to see which team has the right team to compete.
Yes.
Definitely, Pakistan has a more edge in a bowling, fielding, and batting, all 3 departments. But at the same time, you cannot put down India without competing. And the way they have the structure at this point, you can't say game is over until it's over. Because they have the batter up to number 9.
Yes.
Means anything is possible. And this 50-over game is a plenty of time. And because of that, now we have to see how the top 5 batsmen on both sides are handling the batting strategies. No doubt, I'm with either side. Whoever bowls well, they are the one getting this win. That's for sure. So Pakistan has a quick bowlers, but at the same time, I will not be surprised if 1 or 2 bowlers from India side came out and prove it. They can do it. Especially watch out for Jadeja and Bumrah. That is my take. If the Pakistan going their way, I will say it should be the one. Shaheen Afridi can disturb most of the Indian batsmen. Others, they are capable to do. But then Pakistan also has a different situation than the India. India has a middle order batsman situation where Pakistan, I believe, has to find a way to uplift the performance at number 5 and 6 bowler. At this point, you can count 4 bowlers who can take care of the 40 overs. But those 10 other overs need to be go certain bowlers, and that will be the huge dent, I look at it, in a bowling. And India will not be stay loose in that situation. If they see the 5th and 6th bowler, I believe they will going for the attack because those are the ones they can score heavy in those bowlers. India's puzzle will be again the bowler, especially in spinner side. But looking at the track today, I will say Akshar Patel and Jadeja are coming in because they both can bat, they both can go for sixes, and that is what you need in this sort of format. And usually looking at the pitch and environment and weather, I will say you need the tail enders who can go for big sixes.
Mhm.
It will be very hard to score runs. So far, we haven't seen any high scoring game yet. Most of the games are going around 250 to 300. And at the same time, it's a slow. It's a slow. So we have to see if someone can make a quick impact in a short stay.
But coach, forgive me. Did Nepal not score 300 runs against? Was it
Only
India?
one, only one, but that was the different ground.
That was a different ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did they decide on this particular format? They have 5 teams. Why not play 5 matches and then the top 2 go to the final? Why did they? Because as it is, teams having played only 2 matches are out of the tournament.
Well, this format is a little bit tricky, I will say. With the 6 teams, you are right. They can have played all 5 games and decide the top 2.
Top
But
2.
this one gives the opportunity, second chance opportunity to the team, because you have to come out from the group and they only eliminated 2 teams out of 6. So if you look at the other way, if you go the normal format or regular format, the simple format where the 4 teams go for semifinal, so that is the stage of Super 4 here. The 4 teams who qualified, who could have played semifinal and winners can go straight to the final. But as I said, this is the second opportunity for all 4 teams. You are not taking just win semifinal and win it, go up or lose it, go home. You got another opportunity here. So it's a win-win. It's a different format. They change it. But I believe this is a good format. This is a good format.
Did the way the team came about, India and Pakistan ended up in the same group. Was that coincidence or did they deliberately set it up that way?
Well, again, these are the 5 strong teams from Asia. As I told you, that's most of the World Cups, we look at it, these 5 teams over and over competing.
Yeah.
And because of that situation, and Nepal is, you cannot underestimate them either.
Right.
So what I believe is not about setting up this group. They might have a draw for this group. And that is what India, Pakistan ended up in the same group.
Okay, well, what's left is we'll see. We'll see who comes out on top tomorrow. And at this stage, I think we'll say let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. And we hope that perhaps our listeners or viewers will join us again
Tomorrow night
for the post-match, shall we say, chat.
Right.
This is the Cricket Show at www.blogtalkradio.com/the Cricket Show. And we hope that you can join us online or on Sundays. We broadcast from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join us on the phone by dialing 1-515-605-9850. 1-515-605-9850. And with that, I say good night to you, Coach, and we will be again right here tomorrow.
Good night, all.
Good night.